So, yesterday I was on Instagram and a user makes a post which says that they will answer any question you send them with honesty. And I proceed to send this person a message asking what their political views are. They say they don't align with, they side mostly with Democrats. I asked them, are there any politicians in general that you like? They say they can't think of any. I name Biden, Warren, and Sanders as contemporaries with whom I like. Now, their response is to say that they hate Bernie almost as much as they hate Trump. And so I asked them why because I'm, curious. They say that he is old as F, which makes them believe he is crazy. Never mind the fact that he's only 5 years older than the current U.S. president, but okay. Uh, he also rationalized that Sanders got millennials to vote for him because of his BS college, what do you call it, free college proposal. This person is 17, mind you. So I asked him, why does he think the college proposal is BS? I mean, from what the College for All Act of May 2015 stated, about 60% of the funds for the free college would come from the government, and the other 40% would come from the more, I guess, the wealthier in this country or Wall Street. That's what I recall of the bill. But that would seem to be a legitimate way of trying to carry out a policy when you specify what's actually in it. So his rationale for it being BS is that if everyone had a degree, then college degrees wouldn't matter anymore. Um, Problem with that logic, there will always be people who just don't want to go to college. And we can say that's because of their personality, that's because they're tired of school after 12 years. Point is, not everyone is going to have a degree, no matter how free you make this stuff. But also, with that type of logic, see, jobs, a lot of times, you can only get if you have some higher education. You can only become a teacher if you've graduated from college with a degree in teaching or education. Same as lawyers, same as doctor. There are many professions that you need a a degree for. So, in making that claim, it's hard for me to assess the legitimacy of people in abundance having degrees messing up the everything or destroying the economy when we've had people who have mentioned that, yeah, you need more than a high school diploma at this point, which is what that's supposed to help with. And theoretically, if a person has more money to spend due to not having bought out, used all their cash or their check on items such as books for classes or paying off classes, wouldn't they be able to buy more things and therefore invest in the economy? Um, so I shoot back with that, or I respond with that. And he gets into this diatribe where he mentions how he thinks that money in politics is a good thing. After I ask him if he is for getting it out of there so it's not a corrupting factor anymore, which the majority of Americans believe, but nonetheless, he is for it. I explain a little further. By that, I mean, I think he's trying to convey that just no cash at all, but I'm saying corporations and these big donors that want a favor from a politician they donate to, you don't think that needs to be gotten rid of or removed or done away with? And he still kind of is dancing around, and so he doesn't respond. So I send him the article which states, Sanders being the most popular politician in the country. He harkens back to the election and goes, oh, he clearly didn't have what it takes to win. And, when you say that, you really delegitimize yourself to me because you're basically saying that because a person didn't win, their entire campaign didn't matter. And that to me is really disgusting because you're overlooking everything that he accomplished. He went from before that campaign being a no-name senator in Vermont to just 2 years later now being the most popular politician in the country, having acquired the most people to donate to his campaign in U.S. history, and getting 13 million votes cast for him. You can't accomplish that much and be considered a failure just because you didn't. That's almost as if a person says, I want three things out of life: a diploma, a job, and a 5 bedroom house. I get a diploma, a job, and a 4 bedroom house. Oh, well, it didn't have one more bedroom, so I'm a failure. It just, you that is not a conceivable way to legitimately look at something, in my view. And you're missing the bigger picture if all you think a presidential campaign can matter for is if it wins, or any campaign. So he doesn't respond back to it. Instead, he starts sending these pictures of this actress and talking about, oh, she's so hot, and he admits he's trying to derail the subject. But I thought to myself, here's somebody 17. And I had some people around me trying to argue, oh, well, he's young. He's only 17. He's only 17. Here's the problem. If you go back on my channel and look at videos from 2015, where I was very much a Sanders supporter, guess how old I was? 17. They act like that wasn't less than 2 years ago for me, which is why I have a hard time giving people of this nature a chance. And it really doesn't have to do with you having a differing opinion from me. It's the fact that a majority of Americans support this man. He has a problem with him being liked by millennials, which strikes me as more wanting to be different than anything else. And he thinks he has it all figured out, to the point where I just want to ask him, why don't you run for office? A guy who's never spent a day in college, has never had to juggle classes along with bills and paying for things that are unrelated, is going to tell me somehow that it's not conceivable to make college affordable? Are you really saying that? The person who's never attended a day in their life? I know he didn't. He confessed to me that he was still in high school. So you factor that in, and then you get this other little part of the equation where you have to ask yourself, how knowledgeable, what does that say about the person who is critiquing the person who's very popular? It's like telling everyone that they're just stupid and he's the only smart one. He has it all figured out at 17 about how college is impossible to make affordable, or it being affordable is going to wreck everything. And then these leading economists and figures who have been in this work for over 4 decades are somehow inadequate because the dude who's 17 and and whatever, the home of the Simpsons, I'll let you guess where that is. That still is not giving anybody's personal information. There's a whole bunch of Springfields, so I don't even know if that's actually the city he lives in. I'm just throwing out a random location. But my point is, that person who's never spent a day in college is going to tell people who have graduated, moved into the sphere of public service, such as Sanders, such as Warren, that it's, don't do it. It's just incredible to me. And when he starts deflecting and going over this thing with this actress, that's how I know I've won, because you can't make any defense for having some kind of intense dislike of a candidate who most people favor. They people have this thing where they seem to think that the reason Sanders is popular is because he looks like your grandfather, or he is just from Vermont and that's a cool place. The reason he's popular is because many of the positions and issues, such as single payer healthcare, such as free college, such as not having any wars, those are popular positions. Very popular. And it's even more telling when I, ask him about these other things and he takes the time to not respond to them. It tells you that the only issue he remembers is free college. Everything else, such as single payer, was just completely forgotten in his mind. You know, taking a neutral stance between the Israelis and the Palestinians, that was forgotten in his mind. That it's so disturbing because it basically is saying that he has now narrowly defined you based on this one issue and your age, and now that's it. Those are the only two things about you. Never mind everything else. No, and that's really disgusting to me. And I'm glad I chose not to engage with this person politically after this. This was yesterday. I'm very dismayed. So that was what, April 23rd. Yeah, that yesterday's date. And that will go down as a date in infamy where a person tried to go after someone that like, and I defended them to the best of my ability to such an extent that the person couldn't respond any further with any sense of legitimacy and was then forced to start talking about how hot some woman was, as if that had anything to do with what we were talking about. Thank you for watching and have a good day.